Opening statement followed by questions.
I think we have to be happy with our effort today, the way we responded from yesterday. We really asked our seniors to bring more today, and every single one of them, I thought, brought what they can bring in their own way, within their own skill set, within their own role, and all of their play was important, and I think it was huge in terms of our win today. So we're happy and we're excited to move forward with this win.
So yesterday you guys had 40 shots that were still kept off the scoreboard. How does it feel to be able to put 3 up on Cornell today after such struggles yesterday?
I think our kids will tell you great. I think we were opportunistic today. When we got our chances, we were ready to bury those shots. We had a little more placement today, and I think that was the biggest difference. It was more about quality versus quantity today.
Cass, on the first goal for Cornell, it seemed like there was a bit of a defensive breakdown or players missing assignments. What did you observe on the play?
You were very observant. It was definitely a defensive breakdown for us. I think we have a few moments in our zone, especially in that first period, where we were complacent and assuming pucks were going to leave our zone when they didn't. And it was something we addressed, something we talked about, and I think our kids tightened it up the way we needed to. That's something we'll be looking to be consistent with as we move forward.
Coach, game-winning goal in the stick of Megan Turner tonight. How important is she around the crease of the opposing team?
Megan is someone who she values little plays. She values how she plays with her stick, deflecting passes, and she's willing to do gritty things. And like you said, around the net today, just being able to throw that to the net. You never know what's going to happen, and that's how she tends to score goals. That, or the ones where she doesn't get assists, where she's an incredible screen in front of the net. She's that type of player, and I thought she stepped up for us big time today.
What was the message to the team after the first period? You guys had been goalless for 4 straight periods, so.
We can score. We have a lot of scorers, and we talked about being confident that we could score. We talked about how we could do it, and we talked about the effort that it was going to take to do it. It wasn't going to be easy, and it wasn't going to always be a highlight reel goal. We were going to need goals like Megan Turner's, just willing to put pucks on the net and being hungry and gritty around the net, and we did a good job of that in the second period.
After last weekend's game against Yale, there were questions about Sid Rossman's play. She came out last night with the shutout, and then tonight with another solid game. What have you seen from her game?
We've never questioned Sid Rossman's play. She's a competitor. She's been a competitor from the moment she got here to Quinnipiac and has been getting better every single day that she's been here. And there was no different. She had a bit of a blip last week, and she's the first one to say it's in the past, and I'm moving forward. And she was good for us this weekend. She made some key saves, and we needed it. That really allowed us to push our momentum forward.
So for the second game in a row, you guys have exceeded your 6 penalty minutes per game goal. What are you seeing out there that you should improve on disciplinary-wise for Princeton next week?
I think some frustration penalties at times. We had that yesterday. I thought today we cleaned that up a little bit. There's always going to be moments where we play so hard. One of our things is we want to be a hard to play against hockey team, and there are going to be moments every once in a while where we tend to take penalties. When we talk about it, we're okay with stuff that's along the boards. We want to be aggressive and we want to be physical. If it tends to happen there and we end up over our 6 penalty minute goal, okay, But I think for us, we want to get rid of those frustration penalties. We want to get rid of things that are in open ice, and when we do that, we'll be happy with the discipline that we're playing with.
Coach, building off that question, you guys had 2 penalties while on the power play tonight. Is that reflective of those frustrating penalties as you mentioned, or is it just like the format, if you lose the puck, 4 forwards, 1 defenseman out there?
When you're playing a team, they're always trying to do something against you, and I think Cornell did that today. They're a very well-coached hockey team, and I think a few of our penalties were a result of that, things that they were looking to take away that we do, and I think we just, it's the beginning of the year, and we're still figuring out how to make adjustments in game, and I think that led to a fewer penalties today.
TC got her 8th goal to pad the lead and put us up 3-1. What does having a scorer as consistent and lethal as she is bring to the team?
I think it just brings an edge, an uncertainty for the opponent that you never know what's going to happen when she's on the ice. And she does her best to make herself a threat every single shift, and that's her goal if you were to ask her. And she takes a lot of pride in that. And we're really happy with how she's building her game off of the puck. And with those 2 things combined, she's going to be a really good player in our conference.
Coach, how much a momentum changer was finally getting that first goal after not scoring for a couple of periods?
I mean, it was huge. You could feel the relief on our bench, and you know, in the last few games, I think when we've scored, we've felt the relief, and then we haven't really dug in and gone at the team. And I think that was the difference today. You know, there was the relief that we scored. We're a team that can score goals, but there was a different edge in terms of wanting to put it home, and I think we were good with that.
So Sid Rossman faced as many shots in the first period and a half as she did all of last weekend. What did you guys change defensively that enabled Cornell to be, or what did Cornell do that enabled them to be so aggressive on the offensive end today?
You know, we really tried to limit and get them to the outside as much as we could, and for the shots to come from there. When you're playing a team that has the talent that Cornell has, they have a number of players who played on their under-18 national team, under-22 national team, and you know, there are going to be shots that come. And for us, it's how do we make sure that those aren't dangerous scoring opportunities, and then what can we do to eliminate second shots is really our approach. And so, though there were more shots, I think, you know, outside of the two breakdowns that we had that first period, we were happy with the type of shots we were giving up.
Coach, how important of a player is Melissa Samskiewicz to your team?
You know, Samo competes and she brings a lot of energy, and she's someone that you look down the bench and she's just hungry to get out there every single time. And for our older players to see that energy and that excitement about the game, I think that's huge. And she is someone that, you know, she's just starting to figure out how to play at this level and to play consistently at this level. And once she hits that stride, I think she's going to be real dangerous.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Coach.